Yo, I put it like wow, this that sound. These oaks don't work hard like me, I hope they know by now. Bayo Bab, stand my ground. Bro, these money trees go overseas like Percy Tau. I'll make sure you stay around, quiet when I'm under loud. No negatives allowed, me and positivity took a vow. I always play to win, don't anticipate loss. Mind always in the clown, my boy. Never think about the drop, never ever ever think about the drop.
Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show on a weekend where everything happened. Everything that's possible on this planet in football has gone down. Betrayal, he's going. He's not going. He's arriving. He's flying on a private plane. Cristiano Ronaldo is the only thing that matters right now. Leo Messi's so dead right now. Who is that even? I mean, Ronaldo broke the internet. Let's just get straight to it. I've got two gentlemen here. Who cares what's on the show? Actually, just who cares? A lot of people saying that's not professional hosting, but you know, they must get their own show. Gentlemen, Paulo, how you doing? I mean, you're Portuguese. Your surname's Diaz, like the guy at Man City. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Should have worn flip-flops today because I will be flip-flopping quite a lot from my statements on Friday. I'm quite a revisionist stance today.
Now, Paulo, before we get into the Ronaldo thing, a few people have come back to me. I saw somebody yesterday who said, I need to ask you what you are smoking, because you did mention the thought that Arsenal Football Club, which reside in North London, could actually get a result against Man City. And let's just address that whole thing before we deal with anything else.
I like Star Wars.
Yeah.
I like fantasy. I like superhero movies. So I like to believe in the absurd, actually. And I think that's what guided me. I honestly couldn't believe it could be that bad. I was like, surely Arsenal can't be that rubbish.
Yeah.
That they're going to completely blow it up. And they did. And they were worse. They was terrible. The City didn't even have to play. City were walking.
Yeah. No, it was...
So
I
need to be more in realism. I need to do what you do. I need to read financial books, science, philosophy.
Talk to me.
Base my world in substance, not in flim-flam, and then I'll believe.
Now, a lot of people are saying you're Latin, and that's gonna, it might be a lot of people might say I'm racist for saying you've got that hot blood, tends to make you feel. I mean, your blood's the same temperature as everybody else's, but it's a stereotype, racial stereotype. You are Portuguese. You're more into the fields than the hard facts. Your thoughts there?
You know what? Yes, you're right. Because I cannot believe that 11 professional footballers could care so little.
Honestly.
That's it. I cannot believe no one can actually give like less of a crap. So yeah, that's quite right.
Yeah.
No, that is an incredible thing. Sitting next to you, a man who represents a tribe that did try and loot and break down the whole of South Africa, the Zulu tribe. I'm just saying that's what happened. But you're a handsome face guy.
Thank you.
You are a Manchester United supporter. Mm-hmm. You've been at it this morning. Cristiano Ronaldo, the prodigal son, has come home. Give me your immediate thoughts. What sort of prospects are we looking at for Man United?
Everything.
Wow.
Everything. League by January.
Yes.
Champions League's coming.
Tell him.
Computes.
League Cup is
Yes,
coming.
man.
FA Cup is coming.
Yes, man.
Ballon d'Or's coming.
Golden boot.
Golden Boot.
Yes, man.
What else?
Yeah.
Everything.
South African PSL.
Count that too.
Yeah.
We'll take that while we're
Best
at it.
cinematography.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Nobel Peace Prize.
No, that's the one.
It must be Nobel Peace Prize because United fans are happy with the Glazers now. So that is going to be a massive contribution towards world peace.
And incredible. So you're winning it all. Ah.
Everything. Guys, I'll be disappointed with the treble.
All right. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is what I've been stuck with. Okay, listen. We're going to have plenty today. Where I was right and wrong. We'll talk Ronaldo, obviously. And then we'll talk Formula One. Spike Ballantyne will join us in the second hour. This is the MKT Show. And there's plenty coming up after this. Well done. I'm redefining broadcasting, folks. I'm not going to have anyone tell me that isn't the best way to bring a show back on this planet. Well done. Paulo, you know what I'm saying?
That's good because you're acknowledging people's good decisions.
Yeah.
And that's what life's about. You're affirming positive choices.
You know what I hear you saying there is that I'm a good person. And
No.
oh, okay. Have I?
No, not a good person. I wouldn't go that far.
All right. No.
You're conscientious of other people's efforts.
Sure.
So you're good.
You know, that was the classic ask for a sandwich, take the kitchen mentality there. So that's going to happen. Senzo, you come from a tribe called the Zulu people. You did try and bring this country down. Just your thoughts in defense of the Zulu nation.
Yeah, bro.
The looting, the shutting down the whole of KwaZulu-Natal. I mean, is that something you want to address, or should we just move past that? Cristiano Ronaldo's back.
He's back.
Forget looting, forget it all.
The only thing I want to hear today is Ronaldo.
CR7 Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, we'll get to Ronaldo as I do every single Monday. Of course, it's all about, life is about integrity. Now, do I have any of it? A lot of people saying that's questionable. But the one way to do it is to ensure that you admit when you're right and when you are wrong. As I do every single Monday. What a weekend of sport. All right, give me some of that music. Let's get into it. Where I was right, where MKT was right, where MKT was wrong. Let's get into it, folks. Listen. Right, we'll start off with where I was right. Arsenal are trash. It's as simple as that. It's a mess of an institution from top to bottom. Paulo said it just now beautifully, there is no way you can think to yourself 11 professional footballers will care that little. There is no way. It's not possible. It's not about the loss. We expect City to put 3 or 4 past Arsenal. And it's the old adage is there's ways to lose. From a coaching standpoint, that was embarrassing. You cannot have Gundogan this season and Raheem Sterling last season beat your centre-backs in the air in exactly the same fashion. Backstick, and it's over Holding's head, it's over Chambers' head. That's not possible. Kolasinac, what's he still doing in the team? I was right. Arsenal, trash. Where I was wrong, India are not a proper team. I thought they would steamroll England and actually show that it is the second coming of a great dynasty. Absolutely pathetic performance. We will get to that. Indian cricket, embarrassing. Where I was right, I've always said this, and it's not a hot take for me. He may not be their best player, he's the most important player. Spurs need Son more than need Harry Kane. And I love Harry Kane. And those numbers are always going to be important. You're always going to need that. Son Heung-min fits into any team. He would play at Real Madrid. He would play at Barcelona. He can do it all. I don't think he's as good as player, because that's just trying to be a cool guy, trying to be edgy, but I think he's more important to Spurs. He really gives you everything. The quality, high-end quality, the work rate, right, left, up front. You've seen how they've started. They beat Man City. He's sensational. Son Heung-min. Where I was wrong, Luke Shaw is now becoming, we're starting to get into world-class territory. You don't do 18 months. And I thought his performance yesterday, and Man United were awful in the first half. And Luke Shaw was the one guy who actually held it together. The delivery is phenomenal. And we're starting to get, listen, first of all, let's respect BBW wingbacks, because that's what it's about. He gets the body in the way, there is no moving that, and he's doing it at high pace. He looked after Traore incredibly, one-on-one on an island. I thought that was phenomenal. Luke Shaw's proper, and I was wrong. That guy is proper, box to box, sensational. Where I was right, I said a couple of years ago, Daniel Levy, whether you like him or not, is the best owner in the Premier League. Now, that's not to say they're going to win. I'm saying he's the owner you want. He's the guy you don't want to negotiate against. Harry Kane this, Harry Kane that. The stadium this, the stadium that. I've heard Arsenal fans now for 7 years telling me we can't afford players because we're paying off the stadium. Oh, really? Because Tottenham just broke their transfer record twice. Like, that's real. You saw probably the best stadium in the Premier League, and they're now starting to fill the squad out. Listen, Daniel Levy, love him or hate him, he's the best owner in the league. Listen, I love Roman Abramovich, but that guy, Spurs, look out, they do it right from here. Where I was wrong, I thought Harry Kane would fire his brother by now. Senzo said it, I said it. Harry Kane should have fired his brother by now. This is a calamity. I don't know how they do business moving forward, because Harry Kane will want another move. He will want another move. That's going to happen. And my father always used to say to me, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Harry Kane's brother couldn't handle it. He should have got this done. And Harry, it may be time to move on. Where I was right. Harry Kane's not going anywhere. I said it at the beginning. I said I could see it coming. And hey, you can go and look it up, check the tape. I said Harry Kane's not going anywhere, because I've watched how Daniel Levy moves. You only leave when Levy says you're out. And Spurs, new stadium, they need to make sure they sell the most valuable property in world football right now. Don't tell me about Mbappe. Do not tell me about these other guys. The figurehead for English football is Harry Kane. That is the most valuable product in the world. A lot of people say Wayne Rooney stayed in the England team 2 years too long. Do you know why? Because he was attached to the English brand and was the most valuable product in the world. Forget about these other guys. English football is the most valuable thing in the world. I'm not saying it's the best. Harry Kane is the most valuable product in the world. Daniel Levy knows this. He's just done a deal with the NFL. We're going to America. Harry's the guy. We need to sell the English gentleman. He knows this. You think Levy hasn't worked that out? I was dead right. Harry Kane going nowhere. Where I was wrong, listen, my own football club, Marcos Alonso, it works. He looks clumsy. He looks gangly. He looks like he's not athletic. But it works. It just works. The guy was unbelievable. Down to 10 men. Obviously, VAR and Liverpool trying to cheat everybody on earth. But hey, evil will not prosper. It won't do it. Marcos Alonso, you're the guy. Where I was right, Man City don't need Kane. I mean, you saw that. Like, Arsenal, by the way, over the last 15 years have spent the 5th most amount of money. We're not talking about, they're not playing Kaizer Chiefs there. That was blown away and embarrassed in second gear. They've done that to 2 teams now. City never got out of second gear, because if Pep really wanted to turn the music up, that could have got ugly. And I'm talking like volleyball scores. like ugly. Like, people go 11-0. I'm like, let's get to the mid-teens there. That was so ugly. They don't need Kane. Don't worry about it. They're winning the title by 10 points. Where I was wrong, he plays on the left, he plays on the right. That boy Ronaldo, and the rest of it, he's back home. The prodigal son has returned. On the show, we all professed it. Man City this, does Sterling go? I was certain. City are winning it by 38 points. Cristiano Ronaldo's gone home. As we all do in the end. We return home. Cristiano Ronaldo, CR. We can't call it 7 now. I'm probably thinking 9. I don't like Martial. We saw it on the weekend. Hey, nice haircut. Could probably go to church with his mum with that, but it's too late. It's too late. That number 9 will be available. CR9. Let's get this thing going. And now the set has been destroyed. The set is falling apart. I'm sad about it. But you guys are not sad. CR7 is home.
Someone called Michael De Broglie.
That
is a workplace accident.
Now,
I'm claiming.
How do you explain Michael De Broglie to people? Because that reference is so South African that there are people right now somewhere on a tax haven island Canary Islands or somewhere. They have no idea who Markel de Broglie is.
No, but everyone knows him, no matter where you're watching this.
I see what you're saying.
There's always that. I've got to be careful. He gets claims on behalf of Road Accident Fund.
Yes.
So if you've been in an accident that isn't your fault, which
Yes.
is one of his sayings, we all know them. They all like get you paid. Get you paid
Yeah.
when it wasn't your fault. That's what he does everywhere. Every region,
Yes.
country,
Yes.
continent has that guy.
A Markel de Broglie.
That's who Harry Kane needs.
You're right.
Markel de
He
Broglie.
needs Markel.
Markel de Broglie.
Michael
is
de
the-
Broglie would have got Harry Kane Man City. He would have something get injured. Did you ever stub your toe at
Yeah.
City?
CCMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yours.
So, how's it, Gus? I understand. Daniel, I understand you don't want to let Harry go.
But a Markel.
I'm the Markel de Broglie.
I just
Not
checked
Charlie
the
or
tapes.
Markel.
They were making fun of you, Michael.
Yes.
No,
Not
man.
Not you. All
I
right.
stated- I was
No,
very
no.
diplomatic.
We're saying Harry Kane needs you.
Who would have thought? All right, breaking news. A man who is second only to JC in, of course, Jesus Christ of Nazareth in the hearts of men and women worldwide who watch football, Fabrizio Aita the Pasta with the Mama Romano, has just reported Cristiano Ronaldo has completed his medical as new Manchester United player in Portugal. The contract has been signed, deal until June 2023. Visa process started. Shout out Brexit. Hashtag Man United Football Club. His salary could change depending on many add-ons included in the contract with Man United. Hashtag Ronaldo. He's come home, boys. Fabrizio said it now. I didn't believe it until this
Did
point.
he say, here we go?
The medical...
Did he say, yes?
He couldn't fit it in. He had to put the hashtag Ronaldo. He made a call at the end. Here we go. Or Ronaldo. Okay, let's hear it. Cristiano Ronaldo. First of all, before we get to Ronaldo, let's just touch on Arsenal. I just want to finish off on that. Paolo, you touched on it. I remember Chelsea beating them 6-2 or 6-0. I remember you guys beating them 8-2. That was
And this weekend was the anniversary
a
of
decade.
that.
Yeah.
Decade.
It was a decade from 8-2. So we mustn't think 6-0 is too far from what Arsenal are capable of. That was ugly. There's different types of 6-0s as well,
But you're right. It was in second gear. Because, as soon as Shaka got that red card, I was like, guys, here's an 8-0 special, guys.
So why is Gundogan beating Arsenal's defense in the air?
Dude.
And it wasn't just for the goal. He did it once just before the Nazar.
Yeah.
And Norwich put up more of a fight for City. Honestly, it's ridiculous. I feel for Arsenal fans right now, and real fans, not the AFTV guys who are screaming in their cars for the gram. That's silly. But real Arsenal fans, there's a lot of really good people, and just to watch a club, we said on Friday, that's systematically wrong. You can get rid of Arteta all you want.
Yeah.
It's from the top down.
rotten.
There
It's
is
rotten.
something rotten in that football club.
Shame. I felt like now and then the players went to go applaud the fans. What do you say for your Arsenal's fans? Guys coming to applaud you.
They were applauding City goals.
Yeah, they celebrated the 4th City goal.
They were singing, "You're not that good. We lose like this all the time.
We lose every week.
We lose
yeah.
every week."
Could have been 10 the City fans were chanting. I don't want to be on the Arteta in, Arteta out thing, and we'll talk a bit more about Arteta
Sorry, before
tomorrow.
you go there was a clip on Portuguese news,
Oh.
and they spoke. It was about Ronaldo. So they said to the guy, "Who do you support?" So I support Arsenal. They said, "How do you feel about Ronaldo going back to one of your rivals?" It was Brighton's our rival. It's just gallows. It's terrible.
I love that so much.
And that guy's saying it straight faced, eh?
No,
He's not even joking, yeah.
But at what stage do you worry about a Newcastle type of collapse? It's like, I don't know if we're quite there. Like Arsenal still have enough. Smith Rowe, Odegaard. They're
But
gonna.
they're not doing it though.
No goal of the month, eh?
In the Premier League. What are they gonna have to do? Training goals for,
Yeah,
for the
well,
goal
It
of the
happened
month?
once. Aston Villa happened once, and they had to do. It was a reserve game, a Premier League reserve game or something like that they could qualify the goals.
That's what they do, eh?
Whole of August, nothing.
Arsenal Football Club, 3 games. They have
3
not
losses.
won a single thing. They
Conceded
haven't
9.
not scored a single goal.
Not 1.
But honestly, at what stage do you start to say we have a Newcastle style problem here? Because everybody thought, you know, we all have this in life, especially as guys, is I'm too big to fail. I mean, we see the type of nonsense guys get up to, right? Like, are we... I don't think we're there with Arsenal, are we? We're, like, proper relegation talk.
Who are they playing next?
Villa, is it?
I don't think it's proper relegation because there are worse teams.
There
are 3 worse teams than them in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's relegation. But the Newcastle thing is probably not that drop down between divisions, but that fall from grace from a giant. I mean, I actually never thought of it until now. It's like, geez, that's not far off. It's really not far off.
Because, you know what? Sometimes we think like that mentality is a good thing. By the way, if people don't realize this, if Roman Abramovich doesn't bring his money bags, and if Chelsea don't win the last game of the season and qualify for the Champions League, Chelsea are in administration. Like, this idea of we're too big to fail, ask Nottingham Forest. I mean, Paulo, you and I are old enough to remember that, by the way, those are Champions League winning teams.
Twice.
Aston Villa is a Champions League side. They were in the Championship 3 seasons ago. Like, if you haven't been to Birmingham, Aston Villa are a massive deal. They are a massive, massive deal. And they were in the Championship a little while ago. If you haven't been to Newcastle, like, I can't explain to you how big Newcastle are as a football club. Like,
they're the only thing going. The stadium's in the center of the town. You don't go anywhere without the stadium. And Arsenal spent the biggest spenders in Europe in the transfer window so far.
Incredible. I mean,
Nightmare.
Let's have a look at this tweet here before we go on. Shout out Orbinho, the great handle there. There's a tweet, worst ever English top flight starts after 3 games. Man City in 1906-07, Man City 0 points, their goal difference was -13. In 1888, Notts County 0 points, goal difference -12. 1890 to 91, West Brom 0 points, 10 goals, -10 goals, goal difference. 62-63, West Ham 0 points, -10 goal difference. 53-54, Man City 0 points, -9 goal difference, 0 goals. And the Arsenal in 2021, 0 goals, -9 goal difference, and 0 goals.
Worst start in 70 years. Almost.
This is so crazy.
It's unbelievable.
So
Especially for a team whose shirts you can buy on Total Sports. That's like a big deal. You know, when you're buying shirts in Total Sports, there's a standard there. So when you can buy shirts in Total Sports, you're performing like that. It's not on.
And Paulo, and I think where they need to be careful is that football's a business now. It's like, have they lost 10% of the next generation of fans? Because as international fans, it's like, we're not like my grandfather supported. It's very rare. Like in my household, I think I've told you where my father kicked my cousin came to the house in a Chelsea shirt and was asked to leave for the derby and literally had to go home. It's like, internationally there's none of that really here where I support Man United so my son will. We'll support Man City.
The winners. People will support winners, dude.
Have Arsenal lost 10% of their fan base?
I think Arsenal are a well-run business,
yeah,
but not a football club. There's a toxicity in their fan base that is bleeding into United's fan base, I think, across the board. I think as everyone tries to replicate that AFTV thing. So their fan base is very toxic, and actually it almost creates an impression, I get an impression, there are core of Arsenal fans, at least the loud ones, who don't want them to do well because it's not good for their business for Arsenal to do well.
Yeah.
So they will always create the narrative, no matter what.
True.
Was Wenger out? Wenger out, look what it got you when Wenger went out. You know, so I think there's that portion will drive people away, and you're quite right. I mean, new generation of fans. How many new fans? I was watching Twitter this whole weekend. Yes, people were mocking them, but going, oh, people were flip-flopping between Man City and supporting United because Ronaldo was moving. And that's football these days.
Yeah.
Mbappe leaves, goes to Real Madrid. If that happens,
He's taking some
he's
people with
taking
him.
his fans with him. Like Messi took fans. There's people who follow footballers and not players. And there will not be that loyalty to Arsenal anymore because football's so global. And, you know, Arsenal don't have that appeal. And people just go elsewhere.
Good point. I mean, we have a man in the back, one of our technical guys, a father with a beard. He's looking a little handsome today. I'm not sure if we've got him in the back there. But he's a grown man. He's a taxpayer.
And he supports City.
He had a baby. He had a baby.
He's responsible for another life.
He's somebody who you could introduce to your parents as a friend. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not a child. He's not mucking about. And this guy already supports Man City. Do we have an image of that man in the back, James? Not sure if he's with you at the moment.
There he is.
The man with the mic in his hand. I mean, Schultz, you are... I don't know whether you're going to be a good father or not, and don't take that as an insult. I'm just, obviously the baby's new. We can't hear you right now. You are supporting Man City. That's real. You're somebody who's old enough to pay tax and father a child. Congratulations, by the way. But you support Man City. Why?
Guys, I think the scoreboard kind of speaks for itself. It was 5-0 last week. It's 5-0.
It's unbelievable.
Like.
So only
can
Arsenal.
we appreciate consistency? Can we just appreciate consistency? You're
Five's
out here
alive,
talking about
eh?
United. Where is the consistency? Where?
Oh, I got you, man.
Cristiano coming. Okay, so we should not expect anything less than five
Sorry,
goals
are you on the log?
in his first game.
Unbelievable. Okay, but
Is that what we say?
But these are the kinds of monsters you will have to deal with moving forward.
No,
right?
no.
Arsenal fans, like, these are the types of people now we have walking amongst us, raising our children. They are supporting Man City and talking
But
smack
my thing
that.
is, what I'm thinking about is that if you could go back as an Arsenal fan, right, or a person that's like, wants to see Arsenal do well, what do you change? What point do you change so that you are not at this point in time, if you get what I mean?
Listen, great point. You can hit us up at, if you're an Arsenal fan, at Cliffsy Sport. That's a fantastic question, Senzo. That's big time journalism.
Yeah.
You've gone to what my Yiddish friends would call the tachlas of the matter, the real core of the issue.
Tachlas.
That is a great question. Like, what would you change? At what point? At Cliffsy Sport. By the way, hashtag Ronaldo with about 15 O's, the hashtag today. That's a great point, right? That's
because this didn't happen overnight. There is a turning point. I think for me, when Wenger said that fourth place is going to be more important than winning trophies, that should have told Arsenal fans, like, this is what we're going to do for a while now.
But the irony is he predicted that for himself and immediately wrote Arsenal out of it, because it is fulfilling, because fourth place is, probably
It gets you more than winning the FA Cup.
Right, but Arsenal can't even meet up to that minimum standard they set themselves.
Yeah. I mean, even if you believe that, there's some stuff. Like, if you think your girlfriend's gaining weight, right? You can think it, but you don't say it. Like, and you don't say it in front of your friends at a braai.
Yeah, because
You
now it's
address it.
open season. Yeah, in-house.
You take it home and say, oh, babe, let's start gymming, hiking, right? You don't go and say in front of
Are
her
you sure you're going to
friends,
have that
yeah,
sandwich?
maybe you should hold back on that dessert.
Supersize.
Yeah,
Okay.
whew, yes, see, maybe less bread. Like, you don't say it like that, because you got to keep it in-house. I appreciate what Wenger's saying, but that should have been in-house. Like, you don't say that, because now also
You've given up.
and the shark starts like circling, right? If that's the mentality, let's be honest, football's a Game of Thrones.
But dude, even Troy Deeney even said so. He said,
They have no corners.
Small-
When a
small
Watford
guy
guy
says,
and
when you
listen,
guys are small boys.
I know Troy Deeney. When he's saying that, like, then you know, like, if Watford, how are you getting bullied out of Buendia? That's where you are right now, by Aston Villa, who were in the Championship 3 seasons ago. That's what's happening. I'm not making that up. That's happening at Arsenal
But also,
right
if I'm
now.
Arteta, I'm insulted. Like, this guy smashes me 5 and then he defends me afterwards.
Of course he does. Pep loves teams that lay down for him.
Yeah.
So brave. Such stick to their principles. Of course you love it.
But you made a good point just now, and I just want to go back to this. Is like, everybody's saying that Wenger out, look where it got you. And I've been listening to people saying that. And I say, actually, to me, that statement has the opposite effect of what people think. It's like, no, what you're telling me is your institution is failing. Is it Arsenal FC or is it Arsenal FC? Right? And I think as Man United fans, you're probably in the same place now. It's like, and you obviously didn't kick Fergie out. Him leaving was different. But it's like, when Wenger left, Arsenal, take care of your business. Stop worrying about Wenger in, Wenger out. Because
Fix your house, yeah.
if you're a proper football club, Bayern Munich are not... they're not wondering about when who is the not Hansi Flick the old Heineckes when he leaves. They're not going, what are the fans going to say? What are Real Madrid going to do?
Business as
We're
usual.
taking care, like Roman Philip Scolari, I mean, one of the greatest. Paulo will hate him because he was successful with Portugal and he can't stand when Portuguese people are successful. He's
Brazilian.
Well,
so,
I mean,
I excuse that.
Yeah, I mean, some people might say, Portuguese, Brazilian.
And he didn't make Portuguese people successful. He lost
Twice to Greece. At
He
home.
lost the final and the semi-final, so he didn't.
And that was the happiest
Opening
day
game
of
and
my life.
final.
Yeah, and Paulo
To
just-
Greece.
So Portuguese failure.
so,
I'm happy.
and happy. Yeah. So, but Phil Scolari came. World Cup legend. I don't care what you say. Scolari is a footballing icon.
Yeah.
After 6 months, Roman said.
Chief out.
So, for Arsenal, is like, yes, Wenger out. Look where that got you. My thoughts are, that doesn't mean what you think. All it's telling me is I was right. Your institution failed.
It's rubbish.
It's got nothing to do with Arsene Wenger. It's not Wenger FC, unless it is.
Guys, you can take Zinedine Zidane right now and you go put him in that mire called Arsenal. Still same thing. Still, firing Arteta is not going to do anything.
Doesn't change a thing.
And the problem is you've walked down the aisle now. Like, you know when you've got those weddings where people come from Australia and
Kitty.
like, where we staying, and it's a big nightmare and you have to put them in a big house, but one family hates another. The big weddings, terrible. But you're down the aisle now. Everyone's looking at you with Arteta. You cannot fire him now.
You've spent the money. You committed 150 million to him.
212 mil overall.
All right.
From last season.
You can't fire him now. You've.
But you must see Aubameyang's face.
He's part of the problem.
Huge.
And you got to say, Arteta, you're part of the problem for giving him another contract. Like, it's so ugly for Arsenal, but some people might say you love to see it. I mean,
It's like a car crash, yeah?
incredible. Always telling us they're the classiest club. We will come back and talk about the only thing that matters. Cristiano Ronaldo. What number will he wear? It'll be the biggest news today. The medical's done. Will Cristiano Ronaldo actually be on the posters? Do you take down Sir Alex's statue and actually put Ronaldo's up? These are the kinds of things that are going to matter. Are people going to unburn their shirts? I don't know how that happens. Science hasn't figured that out yet. We'll talk Cristiano Ronaldo and much more on the other side, the MKT Show. Good decision.
So chuffed with yourself.
The
It works. It works though.
The industry will never be the same again. It'll make sort of the conservatives. Some people might say it's not good hosting. What if I've just started listening to the show? Paulo, you come from sort of that. What do old school radio people always say? The theatre of the mind.
Theatre of the mind.
That's it. And sort of my hosting and bringing a show back like that. Some might say not so good. Your thoughts?
It's the busking of the mind. It's the guys who are like doing miming outside the theatre. That's your wheelhouse.
That's what I'm doing. I'm the guy painted silver who can
Sitting
freeze.
down, yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't move.
Wow.
I'm with you. All right,
That's
but I
the
mean,
level.
it's a new time. Okay, let's stop messing around here. Enough of the gay banter, right? Cristiano Ronaldo's at Manchester United now. Fabrizio Romano has said
that is the best hijacking ever.
It's
up there.
You know what? Man United, if they're real with it, here's the flex. You put up Tevez's welcome to Manchester, the blue one. You put that in the middle. George Best on the one side, Cristiano Ronaldo on the other side. And you sandwich Carlos Tevez. That's how you do it. Welcome to Manchester. Flex. And maybe Fergie above them. Just like Fergie gives that wave at the end. You know what I mean? Have
you seen the meme of Ferguson over a tombstone putting peace signs and says Pep Guardiola? Oh, it's so childish, bro.
Paulo, talk me through your feelings as you saw that one of the greatest sportsmen of all time, the prodigal son, was returning. Like, because I remember you on the show, Man City, you said you weren't in your fields, you were fine, he's done enough for us, you and Senzo. Actually, maybe you can, let's get a two-shot of both of these. Like, what is the term, folks? If I was in Oxford, right, I'm saying this, but if I was at Oxford, the word I would use is hypocrite. But I'd like to hear how these two gentlemen describe themselves. Flashback to Friday. Oh, he's done enough for us. We don't need... Yes, keep those faces on screen, because these are the words that were coming from both. He's done enough for us. We don't even
Why
care.
Are you mad?
We don't even...
Why are you mad?
Like, we're so happy. James, why don't you come in here? Leave those faces on. We can just have your voice and maybe talk us through this.
I'm loving how mad you are.
Jimbo, you sort of remember on Friday, Senzo and Paulo, and I said they were putting on brave faces. You remember them saying, he's done enough. We don't even care. We're not in our fields. We're happy for him. They said we're happy for him. James, you remember that? Less than 48 hours ago?
I also remember giving them a pep talk of how to cope with it.
Yeah.
Right? And they did seem a little bit distraught, but now that he's coming back, it's like the second coming, and we're going to win the league, and we're going to win the Champions League, and we're going to win that trophy and this trophy. And guys, just relax.
Now, James, the guys are saying it is quite literally the second coming. What is your response there? That's a pretty good comeback.
Say one more time.
The guys are saying it is literally the second coming. So what are your thoughts?
JC?
No, JC did the third coming because he did the rock trick as well. So he was born once, then he died. Then that was the second coming. We do Easter around that time. He went hiking, probably got stuck in a cave. There's a whole thing. I don't really want to get into it. Like Jesus, people get offended. But hey, maybe Jesus just went hiking. That was the third coming, obviously, when he came from behind the rock. And then, so that's actually the third coming if he comes back again. Ronaldo's just doing the second coming. So it's a pretty good comeback, I got to tell you. But James, remember when they were saying...
I like what you did.
Yeah. Remember when they were saying, we happy for him. Like this response is not the feeling of people that were happy if he'd gone to Manchester United. James, I'll let you finish off, James, and then I'll come to the guys in studio. Just your thoughts on these hypocrites. I'm not saying they're hypocrites. I'm just saying if I was from Oxford and writing the dictionary, I'd call them hypocrites. James, your thoughts.
I'm just watching the looks on their faces.
Yeah.
As we relish in this beautiful moment between us.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, a bunch of hypocrites. Having said that, James, I do like to turn it around. Your football club, obviously bribing referees, trying to cheat the system. Evil will not prosper. Obviously a handball, but not a red card. Just your thoughts on John W. Henry bribing referees in the open.
Hey, man, look, we've got to compete with one-man team Ronaldo now. We got to do what we can.
No, shout out. Corruption, an erosion of society. Children will be watching. Obviously, you try to cheat, but evil will not prosper. All right, James, good stuff. Guys, James has called you a hypocrite. He's called you despicable.
Do not need to happen.
I'm just filling in the gaps. James was calling both of you hypocrite, despicable. How do you look at yourselves in the mirror is what James is saying.
We just need Fergie to come back and Howard Webb to come back. Good times are back. For real.
Yeah,
anything is possible, though.
Somebody call Umbro, get us back sharp shirts.
Yes.
That's not working out.
Everything.
I wasn't due to be on today.
No, let's discuss that.
I get in touch with this guy this morning. I said, you got space for me? So, it's Formula 1 day. I said, I'll come for an hour because I knew. I know what I said. And I can't be sitting here having shots at me without being able to defend myself. I cancelled meetings. I postponed meetings till this afternoon. I said, give me an hour.
That is awesome.
Paulo says these things. Guys, rip the running order up. To do a freestyle. Tear it up.
MKT, I have something to add.
Let's hear it, James.
aren't you just glad that we're not sitting here with, egg on our faces? We filmed a piece of content on Friday that was meant to go out, and we didn't put it out, and it was from the perspective of the Manchester City thing, right?
Yes.
So we're sitting comfy. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, no.
I don't take a lot of W's in my life.
Yeah.
This is one of them. I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, it's
so
yours.
So for once, James not finishing what he's supposed to do on Friday in time,
Yeah.
it actually worked out for him.
No, that's it. Yeah, James being slapgat. And because he's the worst Afrikaans person in the world, he has no idea what slapgat means at all. So, but just your thoughts on being a hypocrite, Senzo. Because the way you're responding now, it sounds like you were not happy that Ronaldo is going to Man City. Or have you moved on? Have you
My boy, I didn't have to find out. Somebody didn't hear sorted. Shout out to whoever's up there watching out for us, man. Hey, got my back for real, eh?
Yeah, because that's once you see him in that crisp, that white one that shots. Also just a despicable
I see
human.
everything. 6th November, I didn't have to find out.
Imagine Ronaldo in that white City kit, just banging a hat trick against Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like that would have killed you. Be honest,
mate.
Let's now. This is a safe space for both of you. Paulo, Ronaldo hat trick, Liverpool to win the league in February for Man City would have been. I know you were brave on Friday. I know you said you were happy for him. I know you said he'd done everything for you. But your outpouring of joy now lets me know that you were dreading that.
We did say it'd suck. We did say we didn't want it to happen. But if it does have to happen, we're self-rounded human beings. And like I said, an actualized person. Oh, this guy's got some news here. I see Cavani.
Yeah. No, but finish your statement.
Shirt number news.
Finish your statement.
And a self-actualized person, as the facts change, their opinions change.
I like that.
You are a legend, Paulo.
I'm not going to sit here saying, well, those are the facts I had, and that was my opinion. There are new facts. I have a new opinion. I'm a well-rounded human being. I'm a taxpayer.
It's scientific basis. I mean, you should be biased to good information. Once the information changes, so should your thoughts. It's quite incredible. A lot of people saying hypocrites, but I do. I like your sort of neuroplasticity, they call it. You're able to change your mind. It speaks to how self-actualized you are. Pardon.
Exactly. Listen, a lot of the things I said I don't change, right? In that it is still tricky signing a player of his age, but he looks after himself, so he gives him the choice. I don't like it from the Portugal point of view that our main striker is going to be knocked around for 18 months.
It's not about you anymore, mate.
No, well, exactly. But, and I still, this nostalgia, Ole's nostalgia show, and this claptrap, Ferdinand phoned him, Evra phoned him, and Ferguson phoned him. I hate that. I hate that nonsense.
Content, my man.
You know what? I really hope it's not true. It reminds me of Gary Neville gurning after Solskjaer knocked out, or United knocked out PSG. And what did Neville say? Where's your next contract and how long? When you sign in the contract for how many years? I hated that. I hate it. It's all in that same wheelhouse. I hate the fact that the Glazers are off the hook now for a little bit because it's so cynical. This is...
They not get us Mbappe, then
so cynical.
Paulo, you've just brought up something incredible. What is the temperature of Manchester if they let Man City sign Cristiano Ronaldo? I mean, arguably...
Sure.
I mean...
Well, we said it. We said put the heat on the Glazers.
Who's the biggest figure in Man United's in the last 2 decades? Is there a bigger figure than Cristiano Ronaldo?
No.
Because he signs for Man City in this kind of environment, and the Glazers.
It's late.
That's a very, very good point.
He's right though.
Paulo, that is a great
It's cynical.
point.
It's cynical what they've done, and the heat's off them. So every hooligan that was on the field before that Liverpool game.
That's it. Guy on the net. I remember there was a guy on the net.
They're all congregating around Old Trafford now, but to get into the mega store,
Yes.
waiting to see what shirt number they need to get.
I'm getting 3 Ronaldo shirts.
Just in case.
But I want to
7,
know the
9,
City
37,
guys.
all of them.
I don't know the City guys that bought Ronaldo shirts.
Is that a thing?
I don't think they did. There was that one old one. So when the money first came into City,
Yes.
that there were guys walking around with Ronaldo shirts on.
7.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So those, I don't see anybody new. You know the thing with Ronaldo also going, we said Ronaldo's making the best decision for Ronaldo. He always will.
Yeah.
This is the best decision for him that he's decided. And it's good from a point of view is that since Ronaldo left United, he's never felt loved by a club. You know, because Real Madrid don't love you.
Yeah.
You know, Real Madrid, we've had Zidane, Beckham. This is the standard.
You just stock.
Yeah, you're just one of them and you'll move on. Do what you do. We'll never love you. I don't think they ever loved him at Juventus. At United, he's going to be absolutely loved all through, even probably too much by Solskjaer to make like clear decisions.
You know that first training session is not private.
No, fans. In fact, let's do that at Old Trafford.
And selling tickets and selling pay-per-view.
Same time.
It's a pay-per-view for training.
Yes,
Pay-per-view
it's the
for training.
same time.
All right, breaking news, Senzo. What you got, pal?
Edison Cavani will stay with Manchester United over the international break after his call-up to Uruguay squad was cancelled.
Right. Edinson Cavani, shout out BBC Sport, will stay with Man United over the international break after his call-up to Uruguay squad was cancelled. Hashtag BBC Football. Hashtag MUFC. Now, that is interesting because what's the quarantine for Brexit FC? 14 days when you
14
return.
days.
You can't... And you've seen it now, right? Let's be honest, as United fans, Ronaldo, blah, 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 whatever, is like... Yesterday was actually quite ugly against Wolves. If Wolves are half decent, you're probably 2 or 3-0 down at half time.
Wolves are very decent. If Wolves just were having more luck up front, they tore us to pieces.
Adama Traore couldn't finish a fish supper. If he could...
A sentence.
Do you know... If he could just finish a sentence, well said, you're 2-0 down within the first 35.
I have to think that was part of Solskjaer's plan. Because there's no other way going, let the guy run at us because he can't finish. Because why else would you let a player like him run half the field? So maybe he was, like teams do with Wan-Bissaka and go, well, the guy can't cross, so let him have the ball.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I can think. Ronaldo doesn't make Fred better positionally. Ronaldo doesn't. It was like yesterday was ugly. Yesterday was. But Southampton was ugly.
Yeah, so exactly. Those two games have shown me, and it's, actually what's weird about United is you've almost got too much attacking talent, and Ollie's still struggling with the balance. It's like yesterday what you needed was Cavani, because listen, the passing's there, Bruno's there, Pogba's there, but neither guy's going to have a 10 all the time. Is when you've got Cavani with Bruno and Pogba, you saw when he came on, there was that one ball to the back stick where the defender I thought did brilliantly for Wolves, is the movement is so elite, and that separates him. I love Greenwood. I like Greenwood. But he doesn't actually give you that...
Second ball, bro.
Greenwood actually needs to be one-on-one. The movement doesn't get it done. Is what it's telling you is Man United are going, bloody hell, that was ugly. Is this guy's just come back from injury. Is we cannot... Because what you can't do with Cavani is let him go. And the next game, not sure who United are playing, is...
Newcastle.
You cannot afford to fall 2, 3, 4, 5 points, because you saw what Chelsea are against Liverpool. You saw what City are. You just cannot afford to have another Southampton performance. And I think when you have Cavani with what you've got now, I think he ensures that you win 2. You scored 2 or 3 yesterday if he starts and he's fit. I think, Paulo.
The best quote I've ever heard about Cavani was when Cavani's on, it's like putting a TV in your room and suddenly you know where to face the furniture.
Yeah.
That's when he comes on, suddenly everybody knows, that's where we're going. That's where the ball needs to go to.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean...
So, for me, So Martial out. He's packing his locker.
Oh, thank God! Thank goodness.
But is that where's he going, Paulo?
No, he won't go anywhere. But like his time as an elite first choice footballer in an elite first choice team has to be done. And there's some people saying, well, United were better when he came on. I was like, So what?
Yeah.
And I think guys, I think what a lot of people are looking at about Martial and Ronaldo is that he lifts up the standard. And suddenly Martial, that sort of, his way doesn't get excused anymore. And the slackness doesn't get excused. But I just don't see how Martial gets into this team other than Carabao Cups.
I have a question for you, Paulo, as a United fan. So now that Ronaldo's here, do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the hot seat for real now?
Oh, he had to have been this season. Has to. This is his team now. Even before Ronaldo. This has to be.
What does hot seat mean for you? So I'll start with you, Paulo. In terms of hot seats, because there's different hot seats. At Chelsea, we know what the hot seat is.
Yeah.
You are going to get fired if you don't win the league. Roman is not about that life. Frank Lampard is the only person, purely because the rest of football wanted to cheat Chelsea, obviously, and not let us buy more players and have 100,000 loans, whatever. But Lampard is the only person to ever get a grace period. Jose Mourinho got fired twice. Twice. So we know what that hot seat at Chelsea means, right?
Yeah.
What does the hot seat mean at Man United? Because I'm not sure anymore. Paulo, your thoughts?
Title is, forget it. We're not United on... When you see Chelsea, Liverpool even, and City, those are teams they set, Everyone knows what
Yeah.
they're doing. They know how they're going to play. They got elite managers. That's your title. Okay, they can be consistent.
Yeah.
United, maybe it's Champions League can be a bit of a cup.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Got you.
So it goes, okay, Ronaldo is a Champions League specialist. Maybe it's that. But if Solskjaer does not
Bring some sort of
close
silverware.
that gap, and we're not talking 10, 15 points anymore,
4-5
He's got-
max.
even he will have to accept that he's got to go because this is his team.
Wow. So you're saying you want to lose the league by 5, Champions League semi-final, FA Cup semi-final?
No, it's got to be a trophy. Never
Yo,
mind.
there is a
so
trophy.
yeah, so
there
you're
has to
saying
be a
hot-
trophy. There has to be a
There
trophy.
has to be.
There
Wow.
has to be. It's not
And it has to be
negotiable.
big. It has to be. It can't be FA Cup. You've been there. You can't go a World Cup winning defender, one of the best young players of his generation,
Ronaldo.
and Ronaldo, and you're going to be happy with just an FA Cup. I don't even think Solskjaer.
But it's the truth,
Solskjaer
though.
survived a lot.
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
even think he
it's the
survives
truth,
that.
Okay. I like that. I like what you guys are saying.
It's the truth though, because now, bro, especially if he adds, I don't know. I still don't think we're done. I think if he adds a centre defensive mid
Yes.
right now,
Kamavinga vibes.
there is no excuse.
So you're saying like a big trophy?
He
or
has
he's-
to, or a deep run in Europe, a decent deep run in Europe. But that's also not going to cut it. There has to be some silver.
There has to
at
be.
the end
There
of,
has
at
to
the end
be.
of the tunnel.
So what are you saying? Champions League or he's fired?
I
Not
think so.
Champions.
No, I think so. I think it has to be that way.
And he has to win it, eh?
He's given everything. He's been given everything.
Dog.
He was humoured last year with his goalkeepers. One players. I mean, who's going to let you get away with that?
Now he's set. Now
So now he's got his keeper. He's got everybody's his player. Everyone he's kept, everyone who's left, he's been backed. Everything he's wanted, he's given.
Bloody hell. Okay, I wasn't... You see, you've taken me aback there because I'll finish off with my thoughts on Ronaldo, but I hadn't thought you were thinking that for Oli like that, like trophy or...
or bust, bro.
Has
We
to.
can't be losing by. You can't be losing the league by 12. Can't be City close out the season with 4 games left.
If Klopp has a season like he did last year, you think he's not under pressure?
No, for sure.
Pep doesn't bring a trophy. You think he's not... Even Pep
Yeah.
won't be under pressure. There'll be noise.
Talk to me about... Okay, because you got to have an exit strategy. Is, just so you know, ladies, shout out, maybe I shouldn't be revealing these secrets. If a guy leaves you, there's already a girl he's thinking about. You need what we call in business an exit strategy. Antonio Conte? Like, who else is available?
I think we go for Zidane. You know how guys. Are.
Zinedine Zidane.
I don't get this Zidane thing.
I don't get that either. Because
No, but you know how guys are though.
that's a tough one because does he speak English?
Zidane is a Galactico whisperer.
Yeah.
I feel he's a guy who will come into a club where everyone's elite and there'll be senior figures. Listen, maybe United is at that point by then that you don't have to... Like Ancelotti. Ancelotti's his mentor. Ancelotti doesn't coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ancelotti just puts good guys together.
Yeah.
I don't get the Zidane thing.
Yeah, I also don't,
understand.
'cause
For
I
United.
I think you know Zidane. The only reason that people play for Zidane because it's Zinedine Zidane.
Man United are different. Like,
And that'll disappear after a while because, you know, what you always see with players who are great generationally is the first generation after them go, wow, that's Zidane. A younger generation go, I don't really know who that guy is. You know, that's someone my father liked.
So, you know what? Shout out Sky Sports News here with this tweet. Get him back to Manchester with Bruno. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hopeful Cristiano Ronaldo will be available as soon as possible with the final paperwork for his transfer from Juventus now being finalized. Can people relax with that? Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't get ready. He's fully ready. Cristiano Ronaldo is one generational guy. You know
Well,
why?
he's not on holiday for the next 2 weeks.
It's
It's
exactly-
international
international
games.
games, yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo is never on holiday.
And then he's playing Newcastle. So what a great way to ease in.
He's never on
ticket,
holiday. Cristiano Ronaldo's in 90-minute shape now. Like, can we stop with that? I hate this. Get him back to Carrington. Could you shut the hell up? Ronaldo is the one person, even over Messi. He's the one guy.
Lock and loaded.
He will come back and be in the top 5 fittest guys at training now.
Exactly.
When he lands there.
I can get your opinion though, by the way. What do you think is the bare minimum for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? You especially as an outsider.
For me, I'll tell you what, I'll finish off with that, right, on Ronaldo. You guys have actually shocked me a little bit. I wasn't expecting it's trophy or bust, and it's
Big trophy.
big trophy.
It's gotta
So
be
not
big.
FA Cup. Hey, okay.
It's gotta be big
FA
trophy.
Cup and League Cup final, and you lose to City because obviously that's their...
Unacceptable.
Not now. Not now. Even with this central midfield, which is your choice. If Solskjaer wanted that,
Yeah.
he would have been backed for it. You
Yeah.
see how he's been backed.
Yeah.
If he wanted to fix that, he would have done it. They would have done it for him. Everything
I mean, this window, dog, this window's been a dream window. You guys can't complain. And as Paulo said, it's his team now. He is the captain.
If you are a Manchester United fan out there, hit us up at Cliffsy Sport before we round out.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Okay, so I know it's all been sort of fun and games, and yeah, we're winning every trophy ever created.
Yeah.
But do you genuinely, like, try be not biased at all? Do you genuinely believe that now with Ronaldo this season you'll win like a major trophy?
No. Because, guys, look at it like this. Guys, City are playing teams in second gear and they are blowing guys away.
City don't have a centre forward.
They don't have a centre forward and they're putting 5 past teams. Like, it's nothing.
Their defence hasn't been troubled.
At all. Did you see the photo of Edison? They said Edison against Arsenal. Gloves off, he was sitting down.
And Chelsea, we've seen, are prepared to park the bus.
Yeah.
And very difficult when they park that bus.
No. I mean, Evil tried to prosper there, Paulo. I see what you tried to do there. VAR obviously favouring you with Paul Pogba. I like what Paulo tried to do there, and I won't have it. I mean, I will address it.
But other teams look well oiled. Us, it's ugly.
You know, that's why something like the Champions League opens up, because it gets to a point where it's like a cup.
Yeah, it does.
And, you know, like Chelsea were by no means the best team in Europe last year. They just figured out how to play it, right?
Chelsea were the 5th best team in England actually last year.
You know,
we snuck into top 4, but we were
not.
not.
And well done, I take nothing away from them. To win the Champions League, you got to do something right. So, you know, but they wouldn't have gone in at all, were favourites at any point. So the Champions League you can open when you have a player like United with Ronaldo with a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe. But James, I mean,
also,
forget it. We are nowhere.
The league, bro. I mean, also, I think City have got one more thing up their sleeve.
It's called Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, never mind.
I forgot that guy's not back yet.
He hasn't touched a football field in anger this season. He has not. They've blown away 2 teams 5-0. He has not pitched up for a serious. He hasn't pitched up in a Man City suit yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So Jack Grealish has been awful.
No, Jack Grealish has been nice. He's been terrible.
So this thing, they've been in second gear and they've scored, 10 goals in 3 games. Sweet Jesus.
But this team is loaded, dude.
Listen,
It's
guys.
stacked.
Man United, for me, my take is right back, centre back, because I know Maguire is still viewed as Beckenbauer for whatever reason. Right back, centre back, goalkeeper, DM, and I still don't know what your solution is at right wing. I like Jadon Sancho, but we saw what it is. It's going to take a season.
I don't know what our combination is up front either. Listen, the Ronaldo thing's exciting. It's fun. It's fun and it's exciting, and you can, like you said, before the show started, you can feel like a kid, you know, and it's cool. But it's also like, okay, now once that's over, you know,
once the dust is settled,
you know when you play video games,
yeah,
and when you can do like your fantasy team, you put Ronaldo in, and he doesn't quite work out because the algorithm doesn't quite match the chemistry.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, we all play video games.
And I think one last thing before we close it off is that we must be very clear. You know, in every relationship, right? Especially like maybe your brother or sister moves overseas and they come back and they've caned it and they've made money out there. They may leave a child. They may leave, but when they come back,
it's different.
We move different now. Man United, I think it's going to be tense with Ronaldo and Man United now because everybody is cheering for Cristiano Ronaldo 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo now.
He's a different guy.
You're lucky to have me.
Yeah.
It's no longer it's an honor to be at Manchester United. And in life, that's a whole different dynamic. I don't know if you've ever quit at a company and gone back and you've made money now and you've got awards.
The kids now, they must have enjoyed the socials now because I don't think that cuts it anymore now.
And I see it with Ronaldo in Portugal in this whole thing.
Yeah.
The guy, Ronaldo 2006 or late 2000, you know, the last part of the decade versus everyone moves to Ronaldo. That's just, you must just accept that in your life.
Yeah.
Everyone moves to him. Better talented, blah, 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 chemistry. This is what I want. This is what's going to happen.
So my opinion is I do not think you'll win anything. And you know what I think? It's going to be very tense. Because Ronaldo has certain expectations and United aren't there. Right now, United aren't where Ronaldo wants to be. It's romantic, it's beautiful. I'll tell you when it gets ugly. January.
I want to see what kind of a manager Solskjaer is going to be now.
Let's go.
What does that turn him into?
Paulo Diaz, look after yourself. A Portuguese person is obviously doing well. You're a hypocrite, is what James said. Sorry, not James, but according to my sources, you're a hypocrite. The Arsenal thing was a mess. And obviously now, Cristiano Ronaldo, a Portuguese person doing well. It must be a terrible Monday for you.
I know nothing about football. So, maybe I'll take up a spike doing F1.
That's what you should do. Just swap you out. Paulo, good stuff today, dude. Great to have you in. He had to come in. Hey, listen, you got to back Paulo. He was a hypocrite. Yes, he was a hypocrite. Yes, he knows nothing about football. Yes, James says he's probably the worst person ever. That's what James says. He said that behind your back. I probably shouldn't have revealed that. But Paulo said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to come in here and defend myself like the OG that I am. Paulo Diaz, good stuff. CR7, the prodigal son, has come home. We're going to talk in a sport where billions of dollars are invested in cars. They just can't think of a way to have a spare day so that the guys can race at 1,000 kilometers an hour and probably lose a leg. No, we can't figure that out. We can't figure out with all the money. We're going to talk F1 and much, much more on the other side. The MKT Show. Well done. That's big broadcasting, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm redefining the way broadcasting will be done on the face of this planet, and we're gonna bring in a man, a human, who I don't know if he loves cars.
He's like, how's that for a classification? I'm a human.
Yeah, Homo sapien.
There we go.
Well spotted.
Yeah, evolved from Neanderthals to the sophisticated Scottish tribe, and he upgraded to being South African. The one and only, the car guy, Spike Ballantyne. How you doing?
I'm good. How's everyone?
Confused.
Oh, wow.
Actually, yeah.
Spike, in your world, I mean, obviously there's a lot happening. Cristiano Ronaldo, Senzo's obviously a hypocrite. Paolo's a hypocrite. They went through some stuff on Friday.
Let's not talk about James.
Oh, no. No. This is not the show.
No.
Right? Like, James, we only have so much room on this show. Yesterday, it was supposed to be Formula One yesterday. The pinnacle of racing. And I think to myself, they spend the GDP of countries on making sure that human beings can just be thrown around a track in the most dangerous sense ever possible. Science kind of makes it safe, but it's never safe.
Science.
But what they can't figure out, so they figured out how to convince billionaires to pay for toys. Because I love Formula One, but essentially it's like buying a football club.
But
right?
that's unfair. I mean, they've also convinced manufacturers to part with billions for marketing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They figured out how to, not because Formula One's an incredible sport and just awesome. But they can't figure out how to build into a calendar, just build into a calendar where we have 2-day buffers for everything. We can figure out costing and logistics, and we can move, like there's breaks, there's 2-week breaks sometimes in Formula One. Can't we figure something out? For those who don't know, the race happened and didn't happen at the same time. A bit of, should we call it Schrodinger's race? I mean,
Well, let's just say it didn't happen.
it's
There was
Schrodinger's
no
race, right? There was a race and there wasn't a race.
No, there was no race. No one went racing. They all lined up behind the safety car, went around a few times, and then that's it. No one went racing.
I mean,
But you know what the thing is?
yeah.
This happens where a race is rained out. It happens so infrequently. And I'll get to your points about can't we build in buffer days? Sure. But it happens so infrequently that, to include a special regulation for that on the off chance that it might happen, it seems like a bit of a logistical waste of time. Because it'll get to the point where they'll go through 6 or 8 seasons where a race doesn't get rained out, and they think, well, why are we putting all these funds and these days aside where we'd never need them, so let's scrap them. And then all of a sudden we get a day like yesterday for the Belgian Grand Prix that didn't happen because it was rained out because of force majeure,
Yeah.
as they like to say.
Yeah, everyone's aware of it because COVID changed everything.
Exactly. So that's the one part of it is it's so infrequently necessary that why would you plan for it? The other part of it, as you say, they've got billions, but they're on a big cost cap thing now. They're on a big cost saving thing. We can't spend too much money.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is, if you book an extra day at a venue, it adds up to millions of dollars because you've got to rent the circuit for that amount of time. You've got to house and feed your drivers and staff and mechanics and everyone for the team for that extra day. It's an extra day that takes away potentially from other development. It's a day that takes away from other marketing. It is a day that takes away from travel to the next destination. I mean, now we've got a triple header coming up. We had Spa yesterday. We've got Zandvoort next week and Monza the week after. So, it's already a logistical nightmare to ship all that gear from one venue to the next. And now you want to plan for an extra day just in case something might happen. So I see both sides of it. I don't know how they're going to get around it. I think the only thing they can do and what they are looking at doing now is changing the regulations around how you award points for that day. So...
But before we move on to that, Spike, is for me, here's what I'm thinking. So in football, right? Let's take football. they've thought about every circumstance so much to the point where if in a 38 team league, if it was ever to be tied on points, goals, everything, there's a coin toss. That's in the rules for something that's never ever happened. It's like, come on, lads.
Yeah, sure. But to draw that comparison, F1 has got the same thing. If the points are tied at the end of the season, it's whoever had the most first places, whoever had the most second places, whoever had the most third places. If it's still tied after that, the rules actually say the final winner will be determined by the FIA in a manner to be determined. So they haven't quite gone beyond that tied for the first, second, and third positions throughout the season. So they do plan a little bit, but maybe not as much as football.
Yeah. But I'm saying for the rain thing, come on.
I think it's much more pragmatic to say, right, let's plan for what ultimately counts is how do we determine a winner for this season? How do we determine the race finish, the race positions and the race points and the money that gets paid out? And in a day like yesterday where, Sir Lewis said it was a farce, money came first, it really shouldn't have happened, it was disappointing for the fans. In fact, just about every driver came out and said they felt really sorry for the fans who sat there all day in that horrendous Belgian storm and waited for racing to happen and ultimately went home, disappointed. So there's already rumblings about how it doesn't work, but it needs to be worked out somehow.
But you know why I find it hysterical? It's like, okay, it's fine that it hasn't happened, but you've been to Europe. Like, the weather, like, bad weather and Europe go together, I don't know.
Same
like,
WhatsApp group.
Like, I don't know, milk tarts and swimming pools, you know what I mean?
And I think that's the other part of it is why are we scheduling races for a time of year where we know it's not that great to be in that part of the world for the weather, so let's maybe have it earlier in the year, later in the... They've done it with other races. They've done it with Brazil, moving it from the start to the end, or from the start of the season to the end of the season, because they know that time of year it's not great to be in that part of the world because it rains so much.
And that's a great point. Let's go to the actual people that own and run this thing on the tweet monster. Retweet here from F1 Media. Spectators must always be the priority. I think that's to Spike's point. The decision of the stewards to extend the window in which the race could take place gave every possible opportunity to maximize the day's running, but the weather conditions unfortunately did not improve sufficiently to complete more laps. I mean, that's the biggest empty comment in the world. Great media, great PR spin.
Can I summarize that tweet for you?
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. A lot of people say.
Tough.
Tough. Thanks for your money. Sorry. And
no refunds.
Yeah. And to Lewis Hamilton's point, he actually said everyone should get their money back.
So wait, are they not giving people money back?
There's been no comments about it. But I would imagine it's the same as any sporting event. If you buy a ticket and it says if the event doesn't happen because of force majeure, it's force majeure.
Oh no, you know what's happened here.
T's and C's apply.
Number one, the T and C has applied, but I don't know if you've been that guy, and I have been this person, and I've been caught twice quite recently. You know when you're booking a flight, and there's an option of, do you want insurance?
Oh yeah.
If the flight gets cancelled, I have never ticked that box. Twice recently, I've had the flight. I can't go, and I'm not going to get my money back. Do they offer that in Formula 1 ticket sales?
No, I doubt it very much. But it also that particular anecdote tells me something. Never fly with you.
Are you saying?
Else. I've never in my life. I think once in my life I've had a flight cancelled.
Yeah, I mean Lewis Hamilton. No, fair enough. I've got to take the responsibility. Maybe Again, my grandmother is Venda, and the juju up there is strong. Past my ancestors,
juju.
It's real. It's real. Venda people. I'm. What would I be? 1/4 Venda. I don't even know what it is. Shout out to my granny. She's very dead right now, but one of the best humans to ever live. Sky Sports News on Twitter are saying, "Sir, I mean a bit of disrespect here. Can we just deal with this?" Sky Sports News, obviously, Bernie Murdoch, great stuff. You guys have done incredible things. Have some respect. It's Sir Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, Sky Sports News are tweeting just Lewis Hamilton. Could be a guy who's a bricklayer down the road. Lewis Hamilton criticized the decision to complete 2 laps of the Belgian GP behind the safety car before calling the race off, claiming money talks and that he wanted to see the fans that attended the circuit on Sunday refunded. All right, Lewis, this is where he needs to be careful. Mm-hmm. I don't know what your feelings are. It's like, Lewis, please. You like... kind of like Senzo and Paolo regarding the Man United situation, hypocritical here because what did he do?
I don't know why so mad.
He moved to Monaco. Sorry, Lewis, you're about the money. Like, I don't want to hear this from you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Even if he thinks it, isn't this an ugly look? Like,
yeah, I think he is a bit. It's a bit of posturing, I think. And you're right. He does live in Monaco, and he's very much about he made that decision based on
that life.
Yeah, exactly. Because people don't move to Monaco because the weather's good and you can train all year round. They move there so they don't have to pay tax. Simple as.
Yeah.
So I think he's coming, but he's also come out on the side of the fans, and that's good PR.
Yeah, that's shout out to Lewis actually not caring as well. So actually, shout out to Lewis for sticking to the script like the F1 media with the empty comments.
Yeah.
Like it's all about the fans, but I live in Monaco. I will not pay tax.
Yeah, I think that when it's the one consistent theme coming out of the drivers after the race yesterday was, it was bad for the fans. It was bad for the sport. It wasn't a well thought out result or well thought out strategy. But there's not much more they can do. And ultimately, the teams who qualified well get their points. The teams who finished in inverted commas well get their points, so they get their payout. Formula One still rakes in the money for the advertising.
Yeah.
The only people out of pocket are the spectators. They spent their money, they travelled there, they rocked up, they spent all day. They've lost money and a whole day, if not a whole weekend, to a race that didn't happen. And, for all his posturing, Sir Lewis is right. They should get their money back.
If Lewis Hamilton's about that action, I mean, what do we go to here? Like, drivers need to dig in their pockets? I mean, I'm not for millionaires. I'm not for millionaires giving billionaires discounts, right?
Yeah, no.
Because that's like sets an ugly precedent moving forward.
Guys, you are glazing over something here.
Let's hear it.
Right? Yes, it got rained out. Okay, yes, Lewis is talking about the money and there's politics.
Yeah.
But you're missing one very important thing about this weekend.
Let's hear it.
Mazepin didn't spin out this weekend.
That's going to happen. That's something, before we get into it, that's big talking. That's big journalism from James.
But James, in mitigation of your statement, no one went racing, so...
Yeah, hard to spin when
you hardly had an opportunity to go spinning.
That's it. Yeah. You can't say, I didn't have a good time with her on the date. You didn't go on the date.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, not spinning is not spinning is not spinning. He was on the track at multiple points. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Sources are saying you're just trolling Mazepin at this point, James. Why is that happening? Is it something personal?
Because I'm jealous and I'm overcompensating for my manlyhood.
The country you live in.
I'm jealous and I'm overcompensating for my manlyhood.
So you're an insecure person.
Yeah.
Just deep down inside.
Definitely.
That's tough. I mean, feeling more for your lady than anyone else. But yeah, thanks for that, James. James, you, Lewis Hamilton, and the F1 media have a lot in common. A lot of empty statements there. Really trying to appease yourself, really. So shout out to you for being the most self-centered producer, director, graphics guy in the world.
In the world.
In the world.
Yeah.
Ever.
Not just in the room.
No.
In the world.
No. It's a despicable sort of... James, we might as well do this. James, you heard of a guy, or human figure? I mean, in this day and age, you can identify like Narcissus. Who do you think that is, Jimbo? Because I know you're big into philosophy and especially the Greek variant of that field of philosophy. Narcissus. Any thoughts on him?
Look, I've read a lot about narcissism.
Okay.
Nice reboot there.
And you've put me on the spot. I didn't prep for this.
You didn't prep for Narcissus, huh? So, shall I tell you what happened? Is he was like, walking past the pond. There's a couple of theories, but walking past the pond, probably with his lady. Remember when I said to you, James, take your lady on a romantic hike, maybe do a picnic, and you're like, get the hell out of here.
Oh, this is the dude with the pond, right?
Narcissus, he's like, hey, he probably got his lady, or like 15 of them, because it's rumored he's the most handsome Greek to ever live. And he's taking his lady, whatever. What's an Italian name? What's in
Valentina?
Valentina.
She's Greek. Why was she Italian?
Oh, Greek. Sorry. I don't know. He's Greek guy. What's a great Italian name? Gabriella. Okay. So Gabriella's on a date. He's taking on a hike. He's got the blanket. And then what he did was he walked past the pond, saw his own face.
He's like, yeah.
And actually, the story goes, let me get some action. Try to kiss himself. Fell in the pond or river or whatever it was, and he died. So,
that's just another Tuesday night for me.
Yeah, he died. Point is, you're so in love with yourself there, James. It's unbelievable, Narcissus. So shout out to me educating you there.
I like it when you take James to school there.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. He wanted to make that statement for himself more than actually about Formula One. So thanks for that, James. Incredible how we've had to waste 2 minutes there to just talk about James. Let's actually get to what's important here and not self-centered yuppies from the northern suburbs of Joburg.
Yuppies.
What's happened here is...
Are yuppies still a thing?
Yeah, no, very much still a thing.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was at coffee.
I thought by now they would have had a different name.
No, that's not going to change. It's the core principles. We are better than you and we'll let you know.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like being in Oxford, but yesterday I saw genuine yuppies.
Yeah.
Like, it was warm yesterday. They're in the cardigans at a coffee shop. We're better than you. We know it. And they drive nicer cars. They have nicer stuff.
They're just better than
their
you.
girlfriends and boyfriends are more beautiful.
Right.
And they're not shy to let you know. So people like James, they will live that lifestyle.
Right.
Spike yesterday showed something, though, which I don't know if it's good or bad for racing, and maybe you can tell us, is the importance of qualifying.
Yo.
Now, it kind of puts that front and center, right? So before we go to that, and I'll, maybe you can quickly ruminate on that. Senzo, your thoughts yesterday. I mean, you're a bit of an armchair fan. Obviously, you're not an aficionado like me in terms of racing. Elbows out racing. You don't know terms like that. But just your thoughts as a supporter of Formula One is yesterday's like, is that what you want to be doing? Waiting 3 hours, it's raining. Shout out to God for watering the pitch. But I mean,
I was
But
going to
you
get
said
to
there was
that.
water on the pitch.
I was going to get to that.
okay, we'll discuss.
Maybe you prayed a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
And that's what
This
we
is
end up
your
with.
doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But what are your thoughts, Sense, before we talk to Spike?
Dude, it was just a mess, like, all around. Like, you know, it was just, was it happening? Is it not happening? Is it not happening? Is it happening? And then it was just like...
And that puts, like, as for me, as a you know, obviously fair weather fans like you, aficionados like me and Spike will watch all the time.
Sure.
But there are people yesterday, like, this is how, like, consumption works, right? It's like, that's a put-off for me. If I was on the fence about Formula One, and there are people, you're
never returning.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're not watching now. You're like, well...
maybe I'm scrutinizing it too much, and I know the hardcores like me will go, we'll watch anyway, but
The hardcores,
there are fair weathers. There are people, like, we are fickle now. Like, hey, if Netflix doesn't work, I'm moving to Amazon. Like, and I know it sounds crazy.
People want what's convenient and what's readily available
now. And maybe I'm crazy, Spike. Maybe I'm overthinking it, and maybe it doesn't affect the brand.
Well, I think you got a fair point. I mean, Netflix hypes it up as like this great spectacle, and it is. When it works, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think yesterday was an anomaly. So yes, there might be 5 or 10 people in the world who switched on for their first Formula One race at Spa, and sat there waiting, and then didn't happen. And I'm quite sure that, you know, I didn't hear all the commentary feeds from all around the world, obviously, but I'm quite sure the commentators around the world are going, this is really insane.
Yeah.
This is not what Formula One is about. You know, the Sky F1 team, for all their faults yesterday, were really kind of, especially old Mr. Brundle was like really upset that this was, you know, not right, and it's not fair, and we should be going racing. So I would hope that they would get that message rather than the fact of, this is just a regular weekend of F1. We just sit around waiting for, you know, the gods
weather
to decide, you know, when we should go racing or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the importance of qualifying now, like yesterday, if anything, I guess that's where we are now. Like, hey, take that seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you got, during the qualifying, the conditions were changeable anyway. And everybody was saying then, and it always is the case, when the conditions are changeable, you go for whatever gap you can, because it ultimately can mean the difference between, you know, literally first and last place on the grid. So Lando Norris was unfortunately one of the guys who went for that gap, and it didn't work out so well because he was the first one out. But had he gone out, you know, 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, you know, the result might have been different. So the thing about qualifying is it's always important in those conditions. But, you know, if you're sitting in a situation where, you know, you're kind of taking it easy in qualifying in the hopes that you'll have a better day next day, you know, now we've seen that actually the next day, the race day, might not even pan out the way even close to what you think. So qualifying it always has been important, but this is an absolute illustration of how important it really is.
Especially now, now we're talking about Verstappen and Sir Lewis Hamilton, although Sky Sports say get that the hell out of here, just call him Lewis. Honestly, he could be just a plumber from down the road. This is going to be, Fergie used to call it squeaky bum time.
Yeah,
we're not up for a 30-point gap this season, 40-point. Like,
well, hopefully not.
Well, well, the way it's going is, hey, this could be crucial, what happened yesterday. And I think that, well said. Senzo, what you got, pal?
My thing is, I want to know from Spike, like, who he thinks the biggest winners and the biggest losers are from this weekend, because that's interesting, because there are people who lost big. And there are people who, like, you know, who gained. Like, So
look, I think we'll get to that, because I'm still... I don't know how I feel about what happened yesterday. Like,
I also don't.
I'm so... You know...
It's such an anti, eh?
No, you know what it is? I'm just so flabbergasted that I watch a lot of sport. Every other sport figures in for when things go wrong. It's like, I don't care that it's an anomaly, but maybe Spike's made a good point. It's like, you know, very few sports have to carry maybe, 10 tons around the world. You know, like football, NFL, you're just carrying humans mostly,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah,
maybe
that's the difference. I mean, in football parlance, if you like, you've got to hire, if your extra day, what are the considerations for your extra day? You've got to hire the stadium, all right, which is...
no, you own the stadium. You don't have to hire anything.
Okay, so you all right, so there we go. You own the stadium, so it costs you, so that costs you nothing.
Yeah.
All right, unless you're paying people for different wages for kind of on days versus off days. So it might cost you a couple of extra pounds in wages. The away team has to hire a bus, or they own the bus, so they just have. And you know, the team gets on the bus, they drive there. It's a couple of pounds in fuel. You know, so the costs comparatively are very low. The difference, to give you an example, the last figure I heard to hire Kailami in South Africa, the last figure I heard to hire that track for the weekend was essentially 100,000 rand a day.
Okay.
So now you're factoring in $100,000 for that extra day that you may or may not spend. That's just for the circuit. That's not for everybody in the circuit, all the staff.
Just to have a place to race.
Just to have a place to race. Catering, electricity for the thing. Then it's the team, as we said earlier. Then it's the teams themselves. They all have to stay an extra night at the hotel.
Yeah.
They all have to have their flights moved out a day. All the transportation that needs to take place needs to be delayed by a day, which will probably come with penalties. So the costs are,
and they're not staying at an
higher.
Airbnb.
No, exactly.
But here we go. As you were speaking, and you're welcome, Formula One. I've just solved your problem.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you do yesterday. Executive decision early, right? But you know what we've done 8 weeks before the season starts, 8 months before the season starts. On the back end of the season, we build in 5 extra weeks, and we call it, like, what's a rubbish word? Like, the bulletproof part of the season.
Yeah.
And obviously, as a fan now, I go, grumble, because I've come from Australia to watch the Belgian Grand Prix. Okay, pal, like, it happens in football, it happens in every other sport. Life's not perfect.
Yeah.
COVID changed everything, blah, blah, blah. You have so many excuses.
Yeah.
Let's build 5 weeks into the back of the season, into our own calendar, and we let the public know. Because this is a teaching moment. You got 5 weeks. Should anything happen, and you're a Belgian fan yesterday, right, moving forward, we have 5 weeks at the back end of the season where we will rerun this race, right? Mm-hmm. And it'll whenever the last race is.
So you just postpone it.
So you go. We'll give it a week after the season ends on our current calendar. We will add the Belgian race at the end, and everybody who was here today, right? We will refund. Because it's called a sunken cost in business.
Sunk cost, yeah.
Like, Formula One's not the only thing that has to deal with this. What about that?
Yeah.
There we go. I've solved your problem.
Yeah, sure. The only problem with your problem solver is that there's a whole, as I said earlier, there's a whole drive to save money.
Yes.
And the whole reason they want to save money is to make this sport more equitable for the smaller teams who want to be part of the sport.
Gotcha.
So not everybody's got Mercedes budget. Not everyone's got Ferrari budget. There are smaller teams that need to make do with what money they can get together. So yes, I agree with you. Having that little cushion at the end of the season is a great idea. But the bottom line is, if you're running a race, let's say you're having a race in Belgium that gets rained out, and the season ends in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
All right. Now you've got to get everybody from Abu Dhabi, and it's all planned. Everybody knows it's going to happen.
Yes.
But who pays for that?
Bam. Here's what I'm thinking.
Because sure, the FIA can say, okay, cool. This doesn't form part of the cost cap. Whatever you spend to get from here to there to run that extra race is extra cost cap. It's not part of it. Great. But it not a guarantee that every team has the budget to fly everybody to that race to go racing. You know what I mean?
The NFL has your solution here. It's something called collective barging, right?
Now you're...
so here's what we say.
Oh, no. Now you're just overcomplicating.
Who's the Bernie Ecclestone of Formula One?
Liberty Media.
Liberty. So, but who's the guy? I don't like companies. Is there a Bernie?
There's no more Bernie. Bernie was a dictatorship.
That's what you need.
No, yeah, sure, that's what you need.
But
you don't have it.
So here's what I'm saying. Whoever FIA Michelle Stevenson, who's the CEO, hypothetically, let's say that's her name, whatever, is take some leadership. Because in crisis, you need clarity. Here's what you say to every team, everyone. It is non-negotiable, right? To all of the teams, a certain amount is in escrow for this situation moving forward, because we have to have a solution for this moving forward. Hashtag global warming. You guys are a part of it because you're chucking a lot of petrol in the air, or you used to anyway. So, but the reality is, in this situation, is I don't want to hear too many opinions. Is what is the solution again? Because I don't want supporters losing out again. People work hard for their money. For me, let's get an escrow account together. Listen, guys, every team must know you are 5 million in the red at the beginning of the season. we're not spending that money. That money is in an account, right? Everybody has to spend it. Yeah, interest bearing. But everybody has to spend that money because, guys, we don't. Because yesterday's a shambles for PR.
No, it was terrible. Terrible.
So look, I'm just offering solutions. Like, the money thing can't be a problem. It's Formula One, for God's sake. And we're not going to spend that money. We'll give you back 10% of it at the end of the year, or 20%, but it must always be there. And I think you've made a brilliant point. Is if we need to go from Dubai to Belgium, guys, it's not Mercedes paying for it.
Yep.
Formula One as a whole. Are we all in or not?
Yeah.
What about that?
That is, I think that's a workable solution, and in all seriousness, something maybe that needs to be suggested to the FIA, who are getting together at their next meeting to discuss these kinds of things for next year. They have said they will table something at that meeting to discuss exactly what to do in the case of a force majeure race like happened at Belgium. And that is, I think that's probably a workable solution, to say, let's keep that buffer in place for the end of the season and schedule the race, the calendar for next year, so we can build in that extra race if we have to, and then we'll use that escrow money to go racing and give the fans what they want. My only caveat is, if it happens to happen twice in the same year, the 2 races are rained out, then this conversation starts all over again, and everyone's like, oh, it's a shambles for F1. You're never going to please all the people all the time, but that's probably a workable solution. Pizza.
Yeah, pizza. Listen, we now need to discuss this before we go to a break. Have I just sold Formula One?
Wow.
People need to, okay, let's talk about that. At Cliff C Sport, did I just solve Formula One and all its problems? Am I a genius? A lot of people are already saying that. So I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I've just solved Formula One's problems in, 20 minutes, Spike? You, me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, whatever. Changing broadcasting, solving Formula One's problems. Hey, we've got plenty to talk about on the other side. This is the MKT Show. We're talking racing. A bunch of billionaires can't figure out how to actually make a race valuable for people. It's incredible. Belgians, good waffles, not good at hosting F1 races.
Yeah,
all right.
Great waffles, terrible weather.
That's the tagline.
Should have given everybody waffles.
Hey.
At least.
Unbelievable. Incredible. All right, the MKT Show. Plenty coming up after this. You've done it.
You've done it, my man.
I mean,
Michael Masi didn't do it.
it's at this stage you have to ask yourself, I'm solving Formula One's issues. I'm redefining how to bring back shows.
You're
At
just
this
a
stage,
quintessential guru. Okay?
am I Larry King? Reincarnate.
No,
Oh,
because you're still alive.
Unbelievable.
I mean, his spandex are absolutely tingling at what I said and what you said right now. Shout out Larry King, my absolute hero. Listen, let's stop the gay banter, because Formula One right now and
Bunch
Man
of
United have
useless-
me wrangled. Right,
Hey, you're
I'm all
rattled.
worked up. They've got me worked up. I'm hot under the proverbial collar. Obviously, I haven't worn a suit since I was 18. I'm not, I'm not a clown.
Grow up, bro.
No. Hey, where's that from? Grow up, bro. Do you remember that
Yeah.
in advert history?
But grow up, bro.
Grow up, bro.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember that advert?
No, I haven't watched live TV for.
That's the problem.
No,
Grow
but
up,
I
bro.
mean, Spike, you've produced for every single preeminent sort of figure in radio. Grow Up Brew, I think, was on radio.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was.
I must
But
have
anyway,
been too busy producing.
if you're an international person, I mean, how do you describe brew? How do you? If I'm from
Bruh.
Iceland, brew,
Bra is the equivalent.
brew, brother, mate,
Bruv.
governor, yeah,
Cousin,
Governor.
my cousin.
tough. There's no real direct translation there.
Chairman,
Brew, very South African.
boss,
Yeah,
I think
boss.
boss is the most South
Yeah,
African.
hey, boss.
Hey,
No,
boss.
boss
How's
is
that
the one.
boss?
chief of South African.
Hey, boss, how you?
Yeah, chief. My leader. Com.
My leader.
My leader.
That's the one. All right.
My leader.
This always happens when I say enough of the gay banter. It gets more
Worse.
into that. Now, of course, that doesn't mean actually that you're a man or woman that's attracted to the same person. That's that sex is. It actually just means mucking about. Let's get into there's obviously rules in life and in Formula One. Apparently, you can't make rules to actually figure out how to race. But what you can do is there was a red flag, which is something.
Few red flags.
Yeah. So let's talk about the rules. What does the rule actually say? How was it implemented? What's actually going on? Does it make me less emotional?
Probably not. So the red flag rule, the red flag rule, let's deal with that first before we get to the points rule. The red flag rule is basically anytime the race director feels that the race, for whatever reason, or the qualifying session or the sprint is unsafe for drivers or spectators or marshals, he will red flag the race. So it's up to Michael Massey, race director, Michael, to say, actually it's Michael because he's Australian.
No, Michael.
Michael.
So
All right,
tell me,
boys,
what
let's
does
stop
red
the race.
flag mean?
Red flag means as soon as the red flag is shown on the circuit, all the marshals at their various posts will wave their red flags. The red flag LEDs will come up. They will switch on the red lights at the start finish line. Will flash, and every car needs to return to the pits to a lap delta, a time specified on the driver's screen. They need to stick to a specific time through the sectors. They need to return to the pits. They line up in the pits in the order that they were on the track, no overtaking, and then they switch off, and then the race is effectively stopped.
Yesterday was the only time it'll actually mean being actually literally and proverbially in the pits.
Yeah,
because normally
totally
going to
in
the
the
pits
pits.
means it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it was start the race, I'm in the pits.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's the only time in
Yeah.
the last 480 years or however long it's been since the last cancelled race. So, okay, so that's the rule. Now, in terms of... So they still gave points.
They still gave points, and this is
Imagine.
this is the interesting thing for me is that you look at the interpretation. There's an interpretation of the rules now. So the way that points work is that you have to run a certain number of laps to be able to award at least half points, which is what happened yesterday. You have to run 4 laps in the race. At that point, once you've run 4 laps, you can award at least half points.
Yeah.
To award full points, you have to run 75% race distance. Once the race distance is past 75%, no matter what, full points are awarded. Even if the race yesterday had been abandoned, if they'd run 75%, everybody would have got their points in the order in which they finished. So now there's a rule that says, well, in the event that a red flag is waved, then you take the position of the cars on the lap penultimate to the lap on which the red flag was waved. So as a count back. And then it gets really confusing, a little bit hectic, and then, so they're saying, well, we ran the formation lap and then we came into the pit, so that's 1 lap, and then we ran 2 laps behind the safety, or 3 laps behind the safety car, but then the red flag rule says that you got to count back, so in effect we didn't run 4 laps, we only ran 3 laps, so no points should be given. God. There's all this kind of banter going around the place. Michael Massey has come out and said, no, we ran 4 laps. No. Everybody gets their half points.
Oh, my. Half. Yeah. Markle went to the marshals.
There we go. So the bottom line is everybody gets their half points. It's good and it's bad because, the guys outside of the top 10 are the losers because they didn't get a chance to either improve their position or take advantage of any kind of incidents that no doubt would have happened in those changeable conditions. Interesting quote from Carlos Sainz, who qualified 10th, ergo finished 10th. He got half a point for his 10th place finish.
0.5.
Yeah. He said, you know what? I didn't deserve a point.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do any racing. So why do I get half a point? I don't deserve it. Dan Ricciardo, coming out qualifying 4th, ergo finishing 4th, said, you know what? Points were handed out rather than deserved, which I thought was the best way to phrase it. They gave out the points. No one actually deserved their points. The guys who I think would probably be the happiest from a points position would be Max Verstappen, probably okay with it. He was probably in the strongest position of all because in those conditions, if you get out ahead of everybody else, you're on such a massive advantage. So I think he would have been okay with the points finish. George Russell would have been very happy with the points finish because he qualified second, brilliant qualification from Mr. Saturday.
Yeah.
He turned it. It could have been a Mr. Sunday moment. The rain took it away from him. But by the same token, he wasn't passed by everybody behind him to get kicked out of the top 10. He didn't get taken out by anybody. Lewis Hamilton probably would have been a little bit upset. But again, you have no idea of knowing, just because you start in your position doesn't mean you're guaranteed to those points. So I think everybody's got to sit back and go, you know what, we got what we got. It is what it is.
Red Bull have a fantastic opportunity to troll here because I'm immediately onto the social media manager. There is no Verstappen. I go to that early, straight after the race. There is taking it to the max.
The only problem with that is that there was stopping Verstappen because he got red flagged.
Oh no, well that's
so fail on your part.
No, I'm putting the points as well, like the winner and podium.
Winner, chicken
I'm trolling everyone.
Okay.
If I'm Red Bull, I'm full on into it. We won. Guys got into it.
Well, I mean, you probably would have thrown out the very first time he scored any points, you would have said, or the very first time he won a race, you would have said max points.
Max.
I mean, it's unoriginal, but it's,
The Swedish people have a great saying, Spike. Mm-hmm. Simplicity is the highest form of sophistication, and you have just proven it right there. Right. Max points. You know what I mean? This guy.
There's another saying that puns are the lowest form of humor.
Different point, different saying.
Different nation, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's the whole thing. So we get half points, and ultimately what we have to still remember, sometimes money shrouds things, is like these are apex level competitors. So you expect those sorts of comments, right? These guys want to compete. They like to have points.
Every single one of them, I've got no doubt, would have, if you'd said to them yesterday, are you happy 100% with what happened? They would have all said no. We wanted to go racing. Even Max, who got as many points as he could have on the day, more than anybody else, probably would have said, you know what, I'd rather have gone for full points and proven to everybody that I was faster on the day. So I think every single one of them they would have been ultimately not 100% happy with the outcome.
And I think we kind of touched on it earlier. Winners and losers from yesterday, Spike. Just your thoughts on that.
So I think for me the big winners are George Russell, qualified second. Take nothing away from the guy. Fantastic qualifying. Team strategy in that moment was perfect. He got the max result out of it. And the other guy who would have been very happy was Dan Ricciardo. Best qualifying of the season so far, and someone who needs a bit of a boost, hasn't been all that effective in the races.
Yeah.
And I think he would have walked away from 4th place with a smile on his face.
And his besties with David Beckham. I'm just going to go to Wimbledon.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, Wimbledon. He was hanging out
David.
with David Beckham just next to him looking... love it. Because he's got the dark hair, Danny Ricciardo.
Yeah.
What's a Ricciardo? Portuguese, hey?
Italian, I think.
Is
Yeah,
it Italian?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But he was looking like a Lothario next to Bex.
Right.
Out here at Wimbledon,
Right,
in the
right.
suit, shades, crash, boom, bang.
Well, personally, I would never sit next to David Beckham while he's wearing a suit, because I'm going to put it out there right now. There's no man in the world
Yeah.
who wears a suit better than David Beckham.
Yeah, no, you've nailed it there. Outside of a guy called Roberto Mancini.
No one.
And even then,
No one.
no, David Beckham is
No
the
one.
ultimate. He's won at life. He really,
Yo.
really has. Married a Spice Girl, played for Manchester United.
You know,
played for
Christian
Milan,
Horner married a
PSG.
Christian Horner married a Spice Girl.
Yeah.
He can't wear a suit like David Beckham.
Listen, fair point. What you're saying is marrying a Spice Girl
There's
doesn't
no
mean you're going to look
guarantee.
good
Yeah,
in a suit.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's what the science is telling you. Shout out Danny Ricciardo. Before we go to the loser, somebody crashed yesterday. How much is he getting bantered in a red flag race?
Wow.
Sergio Perez.
Wow, biggest loser on the day. And to be fair, it's not the first time someone's crashed on the formation lap. I think it was this season that Max Verstappen also had an incident on the formation lap.
So it's a Red Bull thing. Eh?
It's a Red Bull. No, I mean David Coulthard famously crashed on the formation lap for Monza.
Yeah.
From pole position and took himself out of the race. It happens. But on a day like a day like we had at the Belgian Grand Prix, the biggest loser, no doubt, is Sergio Perez. He qualified in the points.
Yeah.
And he just took himself right out of it.
Also, because, it's fine when David Coulthard does that in 1995. There's a little something, not sure if you've heard of it, called Instagram and Twitter now.
Oh, hey.
when the
Sergio
burn is
Perez,
real.
you've crashed at the worst time ever.
Yeah.
Somebody in Chile right now
Is laughing at you.
heckling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, just
Absolutely.
loving it. And that's going to circulate, what, for a year?
Yeah, and the other thing about it is because the coverage is so much better now. Sure, David Coulthard crashed out in Monza on the formation lap of the race in the dry while the world was watching.
Yeah.
No one saw Sergio Perez crash, but boy, that footage didn't take long to appear.
I saw it. I saw it immediately because I'm on Twitter, trying to stay active.
I was watching the F1 TV preview,
Yeah.
and again, we've said it before on the show, we'll say it again. Best way to watch F1 is the F1 TV app.
1000%.
F1 TV platform, rather. And they were in the pits chatting about pre-race stuff, and they're going, oh, we've just heard that Sergio Perez might have binned it. And 30 seconds later, there was Sergio in the wall with replays, with slow-mo replays.
Oh, in
poor
4K.
Yo.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh
Okay.
my
Not
goodness.
a detail missed
People
out.
going like this at work today. Check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo,
Do you
he's
see
a
this?
Perez.
Do you see this clown?
Unbelievable. Listen,
Biggest loser of the day, but not the only one.
and before we go on to that, I have said to you, water the pitch because that's the kind of dynamics you're going to get. It's great
You
television.
see what happens when you water the pitch?
Great content.
No, crap racing.
No
Or
racing.
no racing.
No, listen. I mean, you can over butter a piece of bread. That
Yeah.
can happen. Is
Yeah.
maybe God slow down, just turn the tap off.
Yeah.
Just on the top.
A little bit too much watering.
Also, that area had floods. Like, give them a break.
That's
Yeah.
true. It's true. More waffles for people in Belgium. Other losers from yesterday.
Oh man, Lando Norris.
Shame, man.
Oh, I feel so sorry for
That's
the guy.
tough.
He was on fire. He was on course to get his first pole ever. He was looking like the class of the field. I think he
binned it.
took that little bit extra. He just tried that a little bit too hard. Went out first, found some water, aquaplaned in one of the quickest places on the circuit. And to be honest, I was
Yeah, that crash.
amazed that he got away with a gearbox change only. I was fully expecting them to rebuild that car and him start from the pit lane. Ultimately, it didn't matter. He dropped 5 places for the gearbox change from his 9th position qualifying because he finished. That's where he finished up.
Yeah.
And so he qualified ultimately 14th, but he was looking good for pole. So I think he was also a big loser, especially considering the way that the results were determined. Had he qualified pole, it would have been his first race win. Had you said to him, listen, Lando, we're going to give you your first, if you'd said to him at the beginning of the season, we're going to give you your first race win, you're going to do no racing for it, but you'll still be credited with a win. He probably would have said, cool, I'll take it.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
I won.
Get out of here.
He wouldn't say, no, don't give it to me. I'd rather go racing for it. he would have taken it.
Because the record books are short.
Exactly.
There are no asterisks.
Norris won in Belgium. There is no asterisks.
Yeah.
Or only winners and losers.
Especially now,
when they
who
do-
looks at the subtext?
Yeah, when they're doing the retrospective 20 years from now, when Lando Norris has racked up 9 championships, they're going to be saying his first win was in Belgium. It was weird circumstances, but it doesn't matter.
A win
Look
is
at the
a win.
rest of his
Take the
career.
W, dog.
Exactly.
No, it's hey, I would totally be in it. Let's talk about one more loser before I get to people that I think are winning on a different level because of yesterday.
Valtteri Bottas, he did what he could in qualifying. I think he probably would have made some places up in the race, but because of his indiscretion in Hungary, got himself a 5-place grid penalty. Qualified top 10, got knocked back to 13th ultimately, I think, and so had no chance to make up for his mistakes. And he again finishes out of the points at a point in time where, well,
Total probably hit him with that text. We need to talk.
No, I think that's part of it. Is that I was going to say that I think that conversation is already done. So ultimately, it might not hurt him, but certainly it's not for his headspace. It's not where he wants to be. He wants opportunities to prove himself.
Well, what's the vibe between Bottas and Russell? Is it tense?
They I don't know. I don't think it is. I mean, I'd love to have a real frank chat with Formula One drivers about that exact thing when it comes to contract time. Do they, as much as they say, oh, well, I'm doing what I can for the team and I just want to race in Formula One, and, there must be on some personal level, because these guys are all ego.
Yeah.
As nice as they are, they might be nice guys, some might be nicer than others, some might be bigger dicks than others, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're all ego. So for their team to say, you know what, we don't want you, we want you. At some point, you're going to go, yes, I understand the decision because my results are crap.
Yeah.
And the other guy's cheaper and he's younger and I haven't really shown. At some level, they're going, I really hate that guy. So I don't know what the vibe is, but on the surface, it's all very polite. And, they're all saying, oh, well, the teams will make up their decision. They'll make up their minds and the decision will be determined by whatever. But ultimately, it's in the team's hands and, we're just waiting.
If I'm George Russell, right, I am loving yesterday because at some stage there will be another contract renegotiation. This is why you have lawyers. Is you don't want to start getting involved in it rained blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Next contract talks. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You asked for progress. I podiumed.
Yeah.
How I podiumed.
Yeah.
But I got it done.
Talk to my agent.
Yeah, and also, no one's going to say to him, oh, well, you podiumed off the back of a cancelled race. He's going to say, yes, but I qualified second. I out-qualified everybody except Max Verstappen. I out-qualified Hamilton.
Yeah.
I qualified everybody except the guy who was in front. By one place, in a car that by rights shouldn't be there, I still did it. And that's coming off the back of a first points finish in Hungary. So he's in the pound seat.
Oh, I hope that's worth $1 million, $2 million on the next contract.
I think it's too late. From my understanding, that decision has been made about Bottas v Russell, who's going where. Toto Wolff came out of the weekend and said, yeah, we've made a decision. He didn't say what the decision was, but he said, that issue has been resolved, or that decision's been made. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. So either way, if Russell's staying at Williams or going to Mercedes, if Bottas is swapping with Russell or is out in the cold, I think that's been inked already.
If I'm George Russell, what you're hoping is we've done the classic deal in principle. We haven't signed.
Yeah.
Because I go and put
Gentleman's agreement.
No, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Like, if I was his agent,
Yeah.
because you've got to be unscrupulous at the top. You're like, what do you think? Toto's giving him, hey, listen, you know what? We're going to pay you more money because you were unlucky if you break your leg.
Yeah.
No, you know what Toto would do is, it's been nice, pal. We'll pay for your rehab and we're nice guys, but get the hell out of here.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I'm him, honestly, I hope they've done the principle thing, because I tell my agent,
Hang on.
Slow down a bit.
you're talking to a podium placing driver now.
Yeah.
Let's bump that cheese up,
Yeah.
as the kids might. Honestly, I would do that.
It is a little bit of a difficult proposal when your manager is the guy you're negotiating with.
That is tough. It's much easier when you aren't negotiating with the actual.
Yeah.
Like it's if I want to buy, I don't know, I don't go and buy my book from Bezos.
No, you don't.
I don't go negotiate like, oh, that book's expensive. Bezos will that is tough.
No.
That'll be a tough negotiation. Yeah, that is tough.
But I think also, in any situation, whether you're signing as a driver or buying a second-hand car, I don't want to negotiate with Toto Wolff.
Honestly,
he intimidates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Have you seen him, bro?
He's like he's at least 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
And 7 foot wide.
Massive man.
He's huge. He's got this booming voice. He's worth billions.
Yeah.
Whatever Toto Wolff comes to me and goes, I'll give you this, you just go, thanks, Toto, and be thankful.
Shot boss.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, my chief.
My leader.
And then just move on.
My leader.
Toto Wolff, shut up. I mean, that name is
So
unbelievable.
exactly.
It's almost like
Wolff.
he's shaped it to be on television. Like, what do you call it? A pseudonym.
No, I think that...
That's why I'm wondering where does Cristiano Ronaldo get such confidence.
Yeah.
Todorf is like,
Listen, those guys are different. I mean,
Quiet little man.
yeah,
obviously they'll never be two...
run home to Scary Spice.
Yeah, they'll
whatever.
never be two
No,
men
she
like...
was-
Or Ginger Spice.
Ginger Spice, that's all you.
Yeah, there'll never be two men, obviously, like Briatore and Bernie, but these
What
Briatore.
do you mean, a dictator and a cheater?
Yo, I mean...
Briatore is the man.
And Briatore,
No,
when they caught him, right, what did he say?
Deny till you die, boy.
What did he say? I forget what he said, but just moved on with it. New model girlfriend, new yacht.
Yeah.
Like those guys, just next level. Spike, let's talk. And I guess we've kind of addressed it. I mean, shout out to the tweet monster here, Haas F1 team, guys mucking about there. Meanwhile, in the football, Haas 8-6 versus Aston Martin. So that the guys are mucking about because they planned for 3 hours.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's 3 Haas guys against 1 Aston Martin guy.
No, sure, that's going to make it difficult.
No, they're two Aston Martin.
Who is that? Is that the German?
It's Vettel.
Is that
Oh no,
Sebastian?
there's another Aston Martin
Isn't it
engineer there. Sorry,
Aston
you're right.
Martin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. Vettel, let's see what kind of skills. He goes for the nutmeg there, not great. He panics and snatches at the one on the left, and it's deflected wide for the corner.
I think that's Schumacher Jr. that he's playing against.
Well,
Because I know
I
the
mean-
two of them are tight.
Hey, Schumacher, by the way, played, I think, 7th Division football, senior. Shout out Michael Schumacher,
And he's
senior.
pretty decent, eh?
He played 7th Division football in Germany, so...
7th division.
quite difficult for this Schumacher
Is that where they hand out participation prizes?
Well, I can't answer that. I mean, shout out to Schumacher. It's tough to say a guy who had, 8 titles?
7.
7th.
Tough to look down on him and judge him for not making it as a footballer. tough to say you're the greatest you're in the top 20 greatest sportsmen of all time.
That raises an interesting question.
Yeah.
How many sportsmen who have made it to the low divisions would be so much better if they just changed sports?
Oh, I see what you're saying. That is tough.
Like if there's some dude playing in the 4th league badminton division in the Philippines.
Yeah.
If he became a rugby player, maybe he'd be like the world's greatest.
I see what you're saying. I see that is a very, very good point. More sportsmen should do that. Shout out AB de Villiers playing South Africa for everything, and Herschel Gibbs.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I hadn't really thought about that. Listen, that's tough though. Michael Schumacher, I'm not going to look down on you. You changed the face of sporting viewing for 15 years.
Also, I'm like a billionaire, so like...
Gajillionaire. That's tough pressure for the kid, huh?
Him and Tiger Woods were vying for the title of first sporting billionaire in the world.
Yeah.
And I think Michael got there first. I think.
Either way, he's Michael Schumacher.
What's $100 million between friends?
You know what I mean?
He's done enough. There's a guy, Michael Schumacher, so I'm not going to judge you. Your son, though, I will judge that. That first touch, not great. That's your dad would have
Baby
controlled
Rhino,
that
eh?
and probably won the race. And probably raced in the rain and won. I'm just saying, that's what your dad would have done. No pressure.
That's why you must pick a different profession. Go be a lawyer.
Yeah, I should have been an accountant. So should we finish off on some social media? What we got there, pal? Spike, I mean, we've discussed, can they just figure out a calendar?
It would be wonderful. It would be
You're so
wonderful.
vexed, eh?
13-year-olds have figured out how to read a calendar. I'd like to think incredibly sophisticated men and women who have figured out business models, how to get car parts without losing a single screw from China to Brazil. They've figured this out. Figure out a calendar, which has been the same since about, the 14th century, give or take. Let's figure it out.
I think, look, they have said, there was a headline this morning going, we are going to look at this in our next meeting. So Michael Messi's come out and said, it's part of our agenda for our next meeting.
Oh, Michael.
That's more of, guys, we're not going to do anything. We're probably going to have champagne, which you guys can't afford without you seeing us, and then nothing's going to change.
I think that's fully cynical, and I don't endorse that message. I think they're genuinely,
You're an
especially now. No, not even. No, I'm not. I'm a pragmatist.
Yeah.
Especially now, where Liberty Media have spent so many hundreds of millions of dollars getting the sport to where it needs to be, generating the hype via Netflix, allowing unprecedented kind of content development to get a new audience. They do not want a show like they had yesterday. So Liberty Media is going to be putting the pressure to go, we want our money, we want our slice of cake. Make sure this doesn't happen again. That's why Michael Messi is going to chat about it in the next meeting.
Yeah, mate. Tiger seed. Yesterday, absolute stinker, mate. We cannot and will not have that again, mate.
It cannot happen again.
Yeah, because here's the other part
The
that
buggers.
I've actually just thought about there as you were talking, is that Formula One TV show that gets scheduled, there's a couple of TV guys saying, because what do you think, Sky Sports yesterday are having, like, gentlemen, let's take a seat, we're all reasonable, we can't have that on our channel.
Honestly.
And by the way, can we please have a refund? Because if you don't think Sky Sports are having that conversation right now, you are dead wrong.
Yeah.
Guess what they did with the English Premier League?
Yeah.
We are not paying for the rest of the season. Do not for a second think Sky Sports are playing. There are billions of dollars involved in yesterday's decision.
And that's another reason why Liberty Media will be cracking the whip with the FIA.
It's going to happen. What's his name? Michael Massey.
Michael Massey.
So if you're South African, Markel's going to go to the
Massey.
Marshals.
Yeah.
So it's really sorry to get you out here. I know it's raining and we didn't have enough raincoats for everyone.
But look,
Yeah, but you know I'm a g'day. You know, I got your back. It'll never happen again.
And you know what those marshals are saying? You know what those marshals? They say, "Oh, we hear you, boss. Thanks, bro."
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers, chief. Thanks.
Cheers, Chief.
All right,
My leader.
Listen, can I get a photo with my wife? A photo with my wife.
Major fan, bro.
Shout out to Michael Massey from Australia. I mean, brutal day for Formula One.
Yeah.
But ultimately, hey, water the pitch. I told you, it gets dynamic. It's going to happen. People are going to talk.
Oh, my word. I would have hoped that yesterday's it would convince you that watering the pitch is not the answer.
Have people spoken more about Formula One in the last 20 years? Absolutely not. I guarantee you.
guy.
Formula One, content, water the pitch.
Wow.
People are saying a flood, not good. I'm saying, hey,
More.
they say, après moi le déluge if you're in France. After me the deluge. I promise you, they will never get coverage like this again. Spike Valentine, you are an awesome human being. Thank you so much for today.
Pleasure being here. Thanks very much.
Senzo, you are also a person. So I've given you compliments.
Good sport, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You guys are good. You're cracking stuff. So figure out a calendar, guys. You've got money. The GDP of South Africa is invested in Formula One weekends. Figure out a calendar. Senzo, Cristiano Ronaldo's back. You're winning the SA Premier League, Kenyan Premier League.
Tata Zonke. Everything.
Manchester United, CR7 at the age of 36. He's changed the face of Man United. It's quite incredible.
It's the second coming.
These people are unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen.
I think he's out there right now, practicing how to lift a trophy.
You need to get a cutout. If you want to convince me with how much you love CR7, I want to cut out within the next 2 weeks. No, it'll happen. We will put it on the show, on the set.
Spike,
It'll happen.
here to see it.
Spike Valentine, Senzo Tebe, ladies and gentlemen. My name is MKT. This has been a show named after me. It feels incredible, by the way. The ego, loving it. Having my friends with me, even better. For today, ladies and gentlemen, we are the hell out of here.